Well, race fans, we're back again. It's Sunday. That means we are racing with Apex this in the P Cup for season 23. This week we head to Circuit de Spa. If you can't recognize the geographic areas and the hints, especially the sign in behind our conditions here this evening, it's the world famous Spa. Spa is one of the most famous circuits in the world. It's located in the Ardennes forest of Belgium. Spa is famous for its challenging layout and breathtaking scenery, as we can see by the clips here early on. The track features 19 turns, stretches approximately 7 kilometers, 4.35 miles. It has 19 turns and has one of the longest, most demanding circuits in the modern racing world. It's a combination of high-speed straights and technical corners are going to test their drivers today and push them to their limits. So stick around as we're about to get underway with qualifying. Our drivers heading out to get their out laps in to warm up their tires. A quick look at the conditions. We've got 20-degree air temp, 27-degree track temp, 43% moisture, humidity, and track is dry. Not expecting any rain in the forecast. Unlike last week where we had a bit of a monsoon towards the end. In our race at Road Atlanta, we expect clear skies all day today. So our drivers out on track, putting in that time, getting around. It's a long lap around here. It's going to be well over 2 minutes for our Porsche Cup cars, somewhere in around the 2-minute 20, 2-minute 21 second lap times. And then our GT4s or Caymans will probably add another 10 seconds or so onto there. So it'll be a little bit here before we start to see some times come in. But let's take a quick look at the season schedule here and see where we're going to be heading the next few weeks. As you saw, we started out in Silverstone, made our way off to Monza shortly after that. Imola was round 3, VIR was round 4, Oulton Park, the Britain circuit was round 5. Last week we were at Road Atlanta in the rain. This week you can see round 7. We're on the back half of the season now. Circuit de Spa. Next week we're going to hit up at Daytona International. I believe that's going to be a night race. Red Bull Ring for round 9. Autodromo Jose Carlos Pace, otherwise known as Interlagos, for round 10. Round 11 is going to see us at Watkins Glen, and then we're going to finish up in sunny California. Well, hopefully sunny. We'll have to see what the weather conditions are like for round 12 at WeatherTech Laguna Seca Raceway. So let's see if we can pick up a couple of our drivers putting in lap times as we're on here with Joseph Marr. Joseph had a strong showing last week. He'll be looking to try and work off that too as well again this week. I believe in qualifying somewhere near the top, I believe it was Jordan Musser who was sitting up top of the qualifying standings early on. So pick up Jordan here. No time set in by any of our drivers yet at this point in time. So once they start to come in, we'll click them up on the board here so we can see what kind of times our drivers are putting in. But right now, nothing on the board. As we said, as I mentioned, Jordan Musser, one of our top lap time getters in practice and quali. Well, we got time here. Why don't we take a moment and talk about our sponsor for this season, Apex Sim Racing. Not only are they sponsoring the league, they're sponsoring the entire broadcast this season. So Apex Sim Racing, for immersive racing gear, they carry Coupe controls, Momo, Moza Racing, Seabelt, Sigma Tegrale, Sim Magic, OBP, OMP, Rich DPC, and their own Apex Sim Racing brands. You can find pedals, steering wheels, wheelbases, displays, shifters, seats, dashboards, button boxes, cables, and more. You can find a link on the Apex This iRacing page for a discount. Apex Racers, by all means, purchase all your gear from Apex Sim Racing. We thank them for having them on board again. That's a number of seasons in a row that they've been on board, sponsor the season. We appreciate them doing that. We're on board here with Richard Swindells, my partner in the booth on Tuesday nights broadcasting on Pit Road Productions. We do a couple of GT3 leagues there, so we'll see how Mr. Swindells can do this evening, piloting his own machine around in the Porsche Cup field. Richard currently with a 224 on the board. That puts him in 8th spot as it stands here, and he'll be looking to improve on that. Right now, Austin Diltz leading the way, 222.4 for Diltz. So we pick him up here in his WBM machine. We build memories. You can find Austin Diltz on track on Pit Road Productions Thursday nights, racing in a league over there that, again, I broadcast that one too as well. So a busy, busy week for me. You can find me Sundays here doing the Apex this season. Tuesday nights, you can find me over on Bit Row Productions with, as I mentioned, Richard Swindells. We do a couple GT3 leagues Tuesday nights. And then Thursday nights, I do a multi-class race with none other than Daniel Zippy Salmon, who we could be seeing in the field. He's registered. I'll have to wait and see if he joins the grid. That's Thursday nights we do that, multi-class racing. And then Saturday mornings, we have the Almeida Racing Academy, where we feature their drivers out on track in various machines. So busy week broadcasting for me. If you want to follow along there, by all means, drop a message in the chat or online and we'll get you links to all that stuff. But qualifying still underway. We're on board here with Jesse Meager. Jesse, strong showing so far. Got himself placed in third right now in the Porsche Cup side of things. Only a couple tenths back of our pole sitter. Oh, Jordan Musser just was a brilliant lap. Jordan 221.8. That's going to move him up ahead of Austin Diltz and put him on pole. So Jordan going to duck into the pits. Only took enough fuel for those couple laps, and that was all that he had in the bag. But right now, Sean Teeter leading the way in the Cayman side of things. Sean with a 230.1. That's going to put him in first, half a second ahead of Oz Xulu. Oz 0.58 seconds back. Roman Bykoff in third, almost a full second back of Oz Xulu, or sorry, Sean Teeter. So we do have some championship standings going on, or sorry, championship point hauls going on in these two classes. Last week was the first week where it factored in the drops, so we didn't actually show them. I wasn't sure if the points were calculated correctly. It wasn't until after the race that I heard from Kent that, yeah, I was doing it correctly. It was just taking into account the drop weeks already. So let's take a quick look here at how the points are standing for the Cayman class. As we've got Spencer Bodwine leading the way at 45 points. He's 5 points up of Kent Kruger in second place. Aaron Sene, Mark Bray tied for third at 37 points. Oz Xulu and Sean Teeter going to be tied for fifth place. So real tight grouping so far in the top of the Cayman standings, with first to sixth separated by only 10 points. Louis Hale in seventh, 32 points. Chris Miller in eighth, tied with Tim Havelka with 30 points. And Tyler Nevins and Federico Del Toro a few ways back. We haven't seen them out quite near as often as the rest. And we'll pop over, have a look at our Porsche Cup standings. Brian's in, Mark Miller leading the way at 46 points. Brian Lemke only 6 points back, as well as Jason Kinger. We haven't seen Kinger since the first couple of weeks, but the drops are going to allow him to stay in that battle right now. Joseph Yang in fifth place, 35 points. Joseph Marr just 1 point back in sixth. Justin Atchison in seventh, 32 points. Richard Swindells in eighth, 31 points, just ahead of Kelly Greenhoe in ninth, and Sean Giroux tied at 30th points. And then we'll quickly see the rest of the field there. We'll just kind of scroll here quickly. A quick look at all 26 of our drivers that have participated in the Porsche Cup side of things so far. So, as I mentioned, this is the first race on the back half of the season. So still plenty of time for our drivers to make some moves up and down the standings, trying to improve their positions and so forth. But as we're on board here with Sean Teeter still. Oh, Sean's been bumped down by Roman Bykoff. Roman came in late with a quick lap time, 1/10 quicker than Sean Teeter. So just wait for timing and score any click through here, as that's going to do it for qualifying. Okay, we'll take a look here at the Porsche Cups first. Jordan Musser going to lead the way on pole. Mark Miller to his outside, just under 3/10 back. Morgan Smith going to start third. He'll have Austin Diltz beside him in fourth. Jesse Meager in fifth. Brian Lemke in sixth. Joseph Marr in seventh. Wesley Cotner is going to start eighth. Kelly Greenhoe in ninth, and Justin Atchison in 10th. Richard Swindell is going to start 11th with John Cooper beside him in 12th. We find Brian Zinn in 13th. Daniel Salmon in 14th. Sean Giroux in 15th. Donald Mensing in 16th, and Fozzie Fazillo going to round out our Porsche Cup field. Roman Bykoff's going to take pole in the Cayman class. Sean Teeter in second. Spencer Bodwine in third. Aaron Sunday is going to start fourth. Oz Xulu in fifth, and rounding out the field, Louis Hale in sixth. So that's our grid. We're just waiting for all of our drivers to grid up here. So we have a short pace lap, prepped and ready underway, which is excellent. We'd like to see that. We hate to have the long pace laps out here, so we'll be getting underway here shortly, and we've got our usual 35 minutes on the board for this one. Our drivers will need to make a pit stop at some point in time. For fuel, they will have no need for tires. Looks like we got a cheer in the chat for Brian Lemke. Lemke strong showing last week. Right now sitting in 6th, so we'll see how he's able to do. Lemke in the Saturday night racing last night, I believe, finished in 3rd in the heat race, and I'm not quite sure what happened in the feature as I left after I wrecked, but our drivers are on grid. Here we go. We are pulling away. Jordan Musser and Mark Miller are going to lead them around behind the Porsche pace car. So we have the typical Porsche pace car out leading our Porsche Cup and Porsche Cayman GT4 cars. We're going to head into the final set of 2 corners. The Porsche pace car will duck off into the pits. Their drivers will be waiting for green before they go. See the separation between the 2 fields. Our GT4 class leaving a bit of space at the back half of the Cup cars just to allow for if any sort of shenanigans happen up ahead. But here we are. We're ready to roll. Musser and Miller leading them away, waiting for that green flag. There it is. We are underway into turn 1. Musser going to try and hold off Miller on the outside. Miller looking to make a move around the outside. He's going to have to go deep under the brakes. Jordan Musser's going to cover him off. Mark Miller's going to have to dive back into 2nd. Just behind them, Austin Diltz and Morgan Smith going to battle it out for 3rd place. Looks like Morgan Smith is going to tuck in behind Diltz. Diltz comes over to close him off. Jesse Meager not too far back of them. So Diltz and Morgan going to swap spots, but otherwise our top 7 are going to stay and start as they qualified. We see Austin Diltz running a little wide up Eau Rouge. Mark Miller possibly a slowdown pulled off to the side. He's trying to clear that slowdown, but he's going to lose a spot to Austin Diltz, potentially Morgan Smith as well. But looks like Mark Miller's going to get that cleared off before Morgan Smith is able to snatch away P3 from him. Pop back to our Cayman class. Looks like Roman Bykoff had to fend off Sean Teeter early on. Teeter got a nice run up the Kemmel Straight, was trying to make it too wide, was unable to make that pass on Bykoff. Bykoff's going to hold on to his pole position for now as the rest of the GT4 class tucks in, but Spencer Bodway shows the nose, potentially trying to make a move in around Sean Teeter. Sean Teeter not falling for the bait. He's going to hold on to that position too as well, but they're catching the Porsche Cup car of Donald Mensing up ahead there. Mensing way off the pace. He's getting tied up in the Cayman class. I almost think Mensing should probably be in a Cayman here versus the Porsche Cup. But nonetheless, he's going to be a bit of a roadblock for the Cayman class, but we'll see how that works out a little later on. But up front, Musser leading the way over Austin Diltz, Mark Miller, Morgan Smith, and Brian Lemke up 1 spot. As Jesse Meager's fallen down a couple spots, that's going to promote Lemke and Marr up into 5th and 6th. Looks like something happened to Justin Atchison early on. Let's see if we can find out what happened to he. As Atchison, tries to pull out to make a move on Zinn. Almost clears out Wesley Cottonor, has to bail on the brakes. That almost looked like Atchison just forgot where he was, missed the braking marker, but thankfully he pulled out. Didn't catch anybody else in behind and was able to continue on. So I can't quite see what happened to Jesse Meager to see where he lost all these spots. But here we go. There's Brian Lemke making a move around Meager. It looks like maybe Lemke just made the move to the inside of Meager. Thought maybe Meager had an off track or something that cost him a couple positions, but looked like it was just a draft move by Lemke to take that position away. Well, looks like something happened to Daniel Salmon. We didn't see him out in qualifying, starting from the back, chasing John Cooper and Brian Zinn up ahead. Looks like Zippy just late onto the brakes, had to bail off into the runoff there. Gets the car woed up, back on track. Almost takes out Sean Drew as he came back on track, but he'll get it back on. As we come back live, our leader, Jordan Musser. What a terrible rejoin Musser leaves the track, gets back on track, comes right ahead of Wesley Cotnor. That was a example of a terrible rejoin there by Jordan Musser. I know as the leader, you want to get back on track as soon as possible. That's not the way you want to do it there. Fortunately, he just cost himself and Wesley Cotnor both of their races. So checking a battle a little farther back in the field here, we've got Brian Zinn putting some pressure on Kelly Greenhoe. Kelly had a strong showing last week in Porsche Cup at Road Atlanta. He sat on pole, led for most of the race until just before the pit stop cycles, where Kelly had an unfortunate incident into turn one, went wide into the wall, and that was the end of his race. So Kelly be trying to get some redemption this week here as he's trying to hold off the charge of Brian Zinn right now. But let's see if we can take a look again at what happened to Jordan Musser. See if we can kind of decipher what went down here. So Musser leading the way at the top of the Kemmel straight into the corner, just loses the back end up on the curb. Gets himself collected up, turns around. Unfortunately, he came back out on track and then he hammered the brakes. If he would have just kept going across the track, I think he would have had time to clear the track before Wesley Cotnor got there. But unfortunately for Cotnor, there's not much he could do there. Let's see if we can get a onboard shot here of Wesley Cotnor to see what he saw as he was coming in there. On board here with Cotnor as he's coming in through. See, just no time to react there for Wesley. Unfortunate for him, but I'm sure the stewards will probably be taking a look at that. But this battle's still going on. Greenhoe looks like he's pulled a couple tenths ahead of Brian Zinn as they head around to finish up their lap number 2 and be in lap 3. Let's pop up ahead here to see what's going on with our leaders. Austin Dill still leading the way. It's like Brian Lemke showing the nose on Mark Miller behind. Miller goes a little defensive to block that move from Lemke. Lemke having to tuck back in. I think he was only trying to probably force a mistake on Miller. Miller not biting. At this point in time, he's going to hold on to that position. Got back here. Look at John Cooper. He's chasing Justin Atchison, Sean Giroux, and Daniel Zippy Salmon up ahead. Actually, they got Richard Swindell's just up ahead. So we got 5-car pack here from 9th place all the way down to 13th, battling it out, separated by just over 1 second, this group of cars. We'll pop up the relative here, so keep an eye on the gap in between these cars. So Richard Swindell is only 2.4 seconds ahead of Justin Atchison and John Cooper. So it looks like Swindell's and Salmon starting to pull away from that pack in behind. Sean Giroux now leading around Justin Atchison and John Cooper. Giroux's fallen off the back of Sam in the last few corners. We'll see if they're able to work together to close that gap back up on Salmon, and Swindell is up ahead. Let's go back to the GT4 field here, and everything fairly status quo. Sean Teeter back up front of Roman Bykov. Bykov feeling some pressure from Spencer Bodway now. Bodway got Aaron Sunday, Ozek Sulu in tow. They've kind of dropped Uwe Hale a little bit off the back, but Uwe's still in touch there. He's only about 4 seconds back of this battle. If something were to happen, he can close up that gap and catch up. But right now, it's a bit of a 4-car battle up top of the GT4 Cayman class. Sean Teeter starting to open up a bit of a gap over Roman Bykov. Bykov's going to be a little more occupied with Spencer Bodway in his mirrors. Bodway putting a ton of pressure on the back of that Coors Lightning machine, piloted by Bykov. You see the run in the draft that Spencer Bodway gets to there. We'll see if he makes a move through Blanchimont. Bodway tight up on the back of Bykov's bumper. Heavy braking section coming up. Excellent opportunity for Spencer Bodway to try and make a move. He's going to try and go around the outside. Bykov's going to come over and cross that off. Bodway not able to make the undercut, switch back onto the inside. He's going to have to try and settle for another position here, trying to find another way to make a move. As Roman Bykov, excellent defense so far to hold on to that position. Looks like Bodway thought about sending it down into turn 1. Showed the nose a little bit there, but Bykov not biting. See if Bodway gets a run here up through Eau Rouge. Let's go on board here to see what kind of elevation there is with these cars. You got the left-right combo, blind heading up the curb. You got to, flirting with the slowdown there by both drivers, using up all the track width that they can. Looks like Bodway gets a nice run. up the Camel Straight. He's going to have the inside on Roman Bykov. Teeter comes across to block that move. Bodway almost enough of a run to try and make a move on Sean Teeter. Teeter's going to hold on to top spot, but Roman Bykov can be relegated back to third place. Our pole sitter in GT4 now has dropped back to third place, but we just saw what kind of run you can get in the draft with these cars. So Bykov still in a prime position there to make a move back around. Spencer Bodway up ahead. He can get a similar run through the draft that we just saw Spencer get, but just behind them, Aaron Sunday not out of this battle right now. This 4-car battle for top spot in GT4. Basically, as long as they can stay in the draft of the car ahead, there's always potential for them to take that position away. Go back to this battle between Cooper and Atchison. This is our battle for 12th place in Porsche Cup. Cooper putting a ton of pressure on the back of Justin Atchison. Oh, Cooper's going to go off into the gravel. Oh, he's going to have to collect the car up. Almost sends it off into the wall. That's not the way Cooper wanted that to work out for sure. Oh, we see our leader, Austin Diltz, going wide into the final corner. That's going to allow Mark Miller to get around. Lemke's going to get around too as well. Possibly Morgan Smith. Lemke's definitely getting around 3 wide. Morgan Smith making it 3 wide. He's down to 2 wide now. Lemke's made that pass. Austin Dilt's going to fall all the way back into 4th place. Take a look here in a moment. See what happened to Diltz that cost him his lead spot in the race. So here we go. Diltz with a massive gap out front at this point in time. But he's just going to come in. Just going to lock up the front tires. Way too late on the brakes there. Had to bail. Fortunately for him, he kept it off the wall, but cost him a ton of spots there. See something happened to Donald Mensing not too far behind as well. In the same corner, it looks like Mensing coming through Blanchimont into the braking section. And he as well isn't going to make that corner, has to bail out to the runoff. So we'll pop back up to our leaders now. Diltz has gotten around Morgan Smith in short order, back up into 3rd place. Although Mark Miller trying to open up that gap over Brian Lemke. Lemke up 4 spots now into 2nd place. Strong showing by Lemke right now. Being able to take advantage of others' mistakes is half the battle in Porsche Cup. It's a difficult car to drive. No ABS, no traction control, very little aerodynamics, but a whole lot of power. So you're trying to harness that power, keep the car on track, and accelerate out of the corners without losing the back end is a very difficult task in this car. But back to our GT4 battle, these guys are still going at it. Teeter leading the way, Bodway trying to find a way around him, Bykov trying to find a way around the 2 of them, and Aaron Sunday trying to find a way around all 4 of them. Not to be outdone, Ozek Sulu in striking distance too as well, just in that black and yellow DeWalt machine, just out of draft here. But if these 4 continue to battle the way they are, Ozek Sulu can be right back in this thing. So take a look back here from Sean Teeter's machine. You can see the 3 cars behind him trying to find alternate paths to make a move, trying to find an extra 10th or 2 somewhere to make that move on the driver up ahead. Bodway fakes a look to the inside. Teeter not going for it, not falling for the fake and bake from Bodway at this point in time. Let's pop up here as Jesse Meager and Brian Zinn battling down into turn 1. Meager going defensive, Zinn on the outside taking the traditional line. That should give Zinn a better run out of La Source as they head into Eau Rouge and then up the Camel Straight. I suspect Zinn should get enough of a draft here to make a move into the end of the heavy braking zone at the end of Camel Straight here. So we'll see. Let's go on board with Zinn. We'll see what he's having a look at, see what kind of run he can get. Oh, looks like Meager with the slowdown has to bail to the outside. That's going to give Brian Zinn 5th position. That's going to move him up 8 spots on the day as he charges through the field. Let's pop back with Kelly Greenhoe. I mentioned Kelly looking for redemption from last week. Kelly up 2 spots from where he started right now, but he's got Daniel Salmon not too far behind. But Brian Lemke, something happened to Lemke. He's all of a sudden all the way back into 9th place. Let's see if we can pick up what happened to Lemke. But first we got Wesley Cottonor, who's involved with our leader earlier on, Jordan Musser. Cottonor not going to have a day to remember here as Looks like again he's going to lose the back end there, but let's see what happened to Brian Lemke as he was sitting in second place, the same corner where we saw Austin Diltz go off earlier. Lemke gets through, but oh, a little heavy on the throttle, exiting out of the final corner. He's going to tap the wall. He's going to have to wait for a number of cars to get through there. There we see Kelly Greenhoe coming around. So that's what's cost Lemke a bunch of time. Looked like Lemke might have had another incident not long after. Let's see here. Lemke now behind Daniel Salmon. They're pushing hard, trying to regain those spots. Oh, he's going to lock up the rear tires. Running a little too much rear brake bias there. Has to blow it up. Looks like Lemke going to call it a day, not the race that he was envisioning for sure for Brian Lemke. But that's why we have drop weeks in this season or this series. So if you have races like today where it just doesn't go your way, try and replace them with better runs later on. But Joseph Maher up 3 spots, sorry, puts him into 4th in the Porsche Cup category. He's got Brian Zinn not too far back of him. So we see Joseph Maher going deep into the braking zone for turn 1. Locks up the front tires, has to gather it up. That's going to allow Brian Zinn through, but Maher able to tuck into the draft of Zinn. So we'll see if Maher gets enough of a run here up the straight to make a move on Brian Zinn, as we saw Zinn do earlier on with Jesse Meager. Looks like Maher not quite getting the run I would have expected up there. Unable to make the move on Brian Zinn. He's going to settle into 5th place. So we pop back up front to the lead. Austin Diltz quickly back up around Mark Miller to get himself back up top of the field. So Diltz strong showing right now. He's been able to recover quickly from that off-track incident that he had earlier. Let's take a look and see how he made that pass on Mark Miller to get himself back up top of the field. Again, utilizing the draft down the straight, he's going to make that pass clean and clear of Miller. That's exactly how you do it right there. And we head back to the GT4 field. Spencer Bodway up top now. Bodway and Bykoff both got around Sean Teeter. It's like Bykoff putting a whole lot of bumper onto the tailpipe of Spencer Bodway. Bodway going to make him have to go around the long way if he wants to make that pass. Bykoff's going to try it. They're going to go too wide. I'll give Bykoff the inside for the next corner. They slight touch ever so much. Bodway with the inside for the next corner. He's going to hold on to top spot, but you see the Cayman just scattering back there. This is the closest race we've had in the Cayman class all season. You love to see it. Aaron Sunday dives up to the inside of Ozek Sua. Sean Teeter all of a sudden all the way back into 5th place in GT4. Sean, not a lap to remember here for him, but Spencer Bodway, Rowan Bykoff still battling it out up top. So let's take a quick look here and see how Spencer Bodway took top spot away from Sean Teeter. Just had the run on the inside, had the position. Bykoff was right there to capitalize too as well. So it was just an unfortunate instance where Teeter was just left on the outside, couldn't quite accelerate where he wanted to. These 4 cars are just going to continue to battle on, although Spencer Bodway starting to open up a bit of a gap over Roman Bykoff in 2nd place. So have a look back here from Bodway's wing. See that he's starting to open up a gap over Roman Bykoff, Aaron Sunday, Sean Teeter as well. So this battle is starting to lessen now that Spencer Bodway's got up top. We'll see if they're able to regroup and renew those battles. But pop back up here to our top 3. Austin Diltz still leading the way. Mark Miller in 2nd. Morgan Smith in 3rd. Not far back of them, Joseph Maher and Brian Zinn battling it out. Maher hasn't been able to utilize the draft to make a move around Brian Zinn. Still holding on to 5th place as it stands. But so look, Jesse Meager back on track. He had to serve that slowdown earlier. Daniel Salmon, who did not qualify, started at the tail end of the Porsche Cup field, got himself up 7 spots into 7th place. So strong showing right now for a Zippy Salmon. Last time we saw him on track, it was not a race for him to remember. So he's looking to improve on that. Hopefully he remembers to hit his pit limiter before he enters pit lane this time. He'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But further back, we got John Cooper and Donald Mensing battling it out for 11th place. In Porsche Cup, we've lost 5 Porsche Cup cars so far. It's unfortunate to see. I'm not sure what happened to Kelly Greenhoe, but I mentioned Kelly had a rough week last week. He was hoping to recover on his bad luck last week. Looks like Kelly had something come up. Let's see what happened to him. As he was chasing Sean Giroux up ahead. Oh, he's going to lose the back end. Off track. Slides into the wall sideways. Looks like Kelly with a little bit of suspension damage there. He's going to tow it back to the pits. So unfortunate race for Kelly. It's 2 weeks in a row where it just doesn't go his way, showing some strong promise early on. Let's see if Joseph Maher can get the run this time on Brian's in to make a move to get himself into 4th place. He's currently occupying that position. Joseph Maher would love to take it away. Up the straight they go. Looks like Joseph too far back, not getting enough of a draft to make that move. He's going to pick up a couple tenths, but he's not going to have the overrun he's going to need to make a move into this corner, into the straight. Zane's going to be able to defend that one for another time. Things heating up again at the front of the GT4 pack is Spencer Beaudoin leading around Roman Bykoff. Bykoff's been able to close that gap back on Beaudoin. Last time we checked in with this pair of cars, Beaudoin opened up almost a second over Roman Bykoff. So a couple quick sectors there by Bykoff's allowed him to close back in on Beaudoin's rear bumper. Just behind them, Aaron Sunday and Sean Teeter closing up too as well. Saw Teeter fall all the way back to 4th in a matter of a number of corners, so he'll be looking to try and regain his position back at the top of the GT4 field here, but right now he's going to deal with Aaron Sunday up ahead. See if Roman Bykoff gets a run to make a move here. Spencer Beaudoin took the defensive line. He went to the inside. He was going to force Bykoff to go around the outside. He was going to make that move. Roman not opting to attempt to move underneath Beaudoin this time by. He's going to stay tucked in at the back right now. Beaudoin's going to lead them around. Just in behind, looks like Teeter starting to get closer. Potential attack here for Teeter coming into the next section as we see Sunday going out a little wide. He's trying to do a late apex or possibly double apex that corner. That allowed Sean Teeter to close that gap up quite a bit. Sunday drops a tire into the kitty litter again. That's going to allow Teeter to close that gap. We'll see if Sean makes a move. He shows the nose to the inside, trying to force a mistake from Aaron Sunday. Aaron not biting. At this point in time, he says, thanks, but no thanks on the fake and bake by Teeter. I'm just going to hold on to my position as it stands right now, and we'll see what you got a little later on. So we've got a couple cars crashed out. Austin Diltz, John Cooper, Daniel Salmon. I'll take a look at what happened to Diltz. He was our leader again with another incident, but let's quickly go review what happened to Austin Diltz as he was leading the field. Looks like a similar incident to before, heading into the final braking section. He makes the corner this time. Oh, he's going to head into the pits. So Diltz in for service. Not sure why it flagged him as a crash. Daniel Salmon, it's labeling as a crash too as well. This could be another similar incident where he just came in for service and it's flagging him as it is. Okay, so we got our first two drivers in for service, Austin Diltz and Daniel Salmon. Oh, looks like Sean Teeter going to come in for service too as well. He's going to try the undercut on the GT4 field, so we'll see how that works out for Sean, but that's going to relinquish some pressure for Aaron Sunday. But meanwhile, the pressure is not lessened up ahead as Spencer Beaudoin still feeling a ton of heat from the back of his car from Roman Bykoff. Bykoff's been unable to find a way around Beaudoin at this point in time. We'll see if he's able to make a move this time as they head into Eau Rouge. Up the hill. Both drivers again flirting with the off-track slowdown area. You get an inch or two more of those cars to the left, and then we get a nice nasty 1 to 1.5 second slowdown hanging up the Camel Straight, and all but basically allows the car that you're chasing or battling with to run away. But again, Bykov not able to get enough for a run to make a move on Spencer Bodway. Bodway's going to use up more of the curb than necessary then. That's going to cost him a couple tenths. That's going to put Bykov right back on the tailpipe. But to this point, Bykov's been unable to make that move around Bodway. As we see, Joseph Meyer is going to drop off, head into the pits too as well. He's going to try and find a way around Brian Zinn by using the undercut through the pits. We'll see if it works out for him. Looks like Morgan Smith coming in too as well, just ahead. Jesse Meager as well. So we're at the tail end of the fuel window for our Porsche Cup cars. Only a couple drivers still out on track. Mark Miller leading the way. Brian Zinn in second place. They're both going to stay out for another lap. So we'll see what kind of times they can put in, as they're definitely pushing the fuel load limit at this point in time. Oh, apologies there. I just had to sneeze. It's like Richard Swindell is coming in for his service too as well. So our closest battle as it stands right now until the pit cycles cycle through. Still this battle for first place in the GT4 class. Bodway has managed to get a little bit of breathing space between he and Bykov. Bykov working hard through Blanchemont, trying to close that gap. He got a nice run through there, looking to the inside. See if Bykov can make the pass stick. He's going to make it. Bodway's going to back out, give him that spot. Now Bodway will tuck in behind Bykov, and he'll be the one chasing the rabbit. Okay, Sean Teeter has come in for service. We haven't seen our rest of our GT4 field come in yet. Austin Diltz, our leader, who came in to cycle through for pits. For fuel, no tires needed. He's back on track. Currently in third spot, only 17 seconds back of Zinn and 24 seconds back of Mark Miller. So let's see what kind of times these guys had in the pit lane. So about 36 seconds from cone to cone. That's from pit entrance to pit exit. So Diltz should easily cycle back through to top spot in the standings once the rest of the field comes in. Potentially Morgan Smith could leapfrog Mark Miller here. That'll be an interesting one to see. See if Miller can hold on to his second place, or if Morgan Smith has been able to really utilize that undercut to leapfrog Mark Miller. As Mark Miller into the pits now. Ian Zinn, tail end of their fuel load. They are coming in. So see Mark Miller coming in here. Let's pick up Austin Diltz. Oh, in behind Diltz. That is one of our Porsche Cup cars. I believe that was... Oh, man, who was that? That was... Which one of our Porsche Cup cars was that? Not seeing anything on here. Who was that just hammered the wall? It wasn't Donald Mensing. Atchison. That was Justin Atchison that just hammered the wall there. Not sure what happened to Atchison. Let's see if we can pick back up here. Just kind of caught him. That was after. Let's see if we can catch before. See what happened to him. Oh, he's already loose going through Blanchemont. He's going to tag the wall. Almost takes out Morgan Smith as he's cycling through there. But back in front, Austin Diltz was able to cycle through back up into top spot. Just ahead of Mark Miller. So Mark Miller in second. Brian Zinn in third. It's like Morgan Smith all the way down into sixth place. So Morgan had one of our quicker pit stop times, so I'm not sure what happened to him. Possibly something after Justin Atchison crashed. Let's see here. Morgan Smith had to avoid him. Got it woed up. Oh, and then went into the pits. So, okay. Something happened earlier on to drop Morgan back. Down 3 spots into 6th place. We'll see if he's able to recover that. He's got Daniel Salmon lurking not too far back from Salmon, up 7 spots on the day into 7th place. Daniel Salmon buddies with Morgan Smith, so he'll definitely be trying to chase down Morgan Smith up ahead. As he would want those bragging rights, but pit cycle's done for our GT4 class. Roman Bykoff with excellent pit strategy. He's got himself in and out back ahead of Spencer Beaudoin. He's opened up 2.4 seconds over Beaudoin. As we see Kelly Greenhoe back out on track as he's making a move around Spencer Beaudoin there. Beaudoin going to try and tuck in to use that draft to close back up, but he's got Sean Teeter and Aaron Sunday behind. Sunday looking to the inside of Teeter, but not enough overrun to make the move. Teeter's going to hold on to that position there. Teeter able to leapfrog Sunday through pit strategy. So we saw the undercut worked for Aaron Sunday. He was our first GT4 driver that came in to get some fuel. That has allowed him to leapfrog Aaron Sunday up into 4th place, or sorry, 3rd place in GT4, dropping Aaron Sunday back down to 4th place. Meanwhile, we've got a battle shaping up top. It's Mark Miller after the pit cycles putting a ton of pressure on Morgan Smith. So we take a look back here, or sorry, Austin Diltz. So we take a look back here from Austin's back bumper. You see Mark Miller, I'm sure he was weaving around there on purpose on the straight or what that was all about. Mark Miller diving deep into that corner, trying to close the gap on Austin Diltz up ahead. Unable to do so, but Daniel Salmon, I'm not sure what that was supposed to be on the back of Morgan Smith's bumper, but Salmon moves to the outside, trying to make the move on Morgan Smith. Morgan Smith able to defend right now to hold off Salmon. So we'll see if Daniel Salmon can find a way around Morgan Smith. Morgan's going to try and make that Porsche Cup car as wide as he possibly can at this point in time to hold off the charge of Daniel Salmon. Looks like something happened again to John Cooper, not the race that Coop wanted here. Looks like he's going to lock up his right rear or right front heading into the final corner. Oh, and he's going to lose the back end again. Cooper started in the GT4 class earlier this season. I'm not sure why he switched to the Porsche Cup. He was strong in the GT4 class. He probably should have stayed there. He would have had championship aspirations. The last couple races haven't worked that well out for Coop, but we'll see if he's able to rectify that going on later on in the season. Daniel Salmon still unable to find a way around Morgan Smith. In fact, Smith's actually opened that gap up a little bit. See the two of them dropping a tire out into the dusty stuff. Take a look back here at this battle between Teeter and Sunday. Sunday still hanging on into the draft of Sean Teeter. Teeter unable to get away, but Spencer Beaudoin is closed up on the back of Roman Bykoff ahead, but Sunday making a move, looking to the inside. Not enough over him to make that pass, but just up ahead. Spencer Beaudoin caught back up to Roman Bykoff. If those two battle, we could see Teeter and Sunday right back into this battle for top spot in GT4. We've only got a little over 3 minutes to go, so this lap plus one more most likely for our field. Getting down to the nitty gritty. Austin Diltz opening that gap up over Mark Miller. Miller tried to push, potentially could have overheated his tires here. He's fallen back a little bit. Austin Diltz still working his way out, but Brian Zinn, story of the day, up 10 spots into 3rd place. Not sure if Zinn was serving a penalty or not. I don't believe he qualified, started at the back, so I'll have to take a look at that later on. But Daniel Salmon still trying to find a way around Morgan Smith. He caught up to Morgan, but he's been unable to find that little bit of a couple extra tenths to make that move around him. In fact, Salmon actually falling a little back off of Morgan Smith. Potentially a slowdown for Salmon as they headed up the Eau Rouge. It looks like he's trying to burn off that slowdown still, so I suspect that's exactly what happened. Morgan Smith isn't going to hang around to find out, though. He is up and at him, out of there. Battle for a top spot in GT4 is officially back on as Spencer Beaudoin deep into the draft of Roman Bykoff, trying to force a mistake from Bykoff into the final corner. Beaudoin going to leap over that curb there, which is plenty fine in the Cayman cars, they have soft enough suspension, they just absorb that up. So we see no white flag waving yet for our Cayman drivers. I'll have to watch and see what the clock is at once Austin Diltz crosses the line here. It'll be under 2 minutes to go, so this will be the start of the final lap here. Austin Diltz into the final sector, opening up 1.4 seconds over second place Mark Miller. There we go. Barney's waving the white flag. One more time around for our Porsche drivers here this evening. Diltz going to lead them around into turn one. Mark Miller going to try and have a final push here to close that gap at 1.4 seconds back. He's going to be well out of draft. He's going to need just raw pace to close that gap on Austin Diltz up ahead. Have a look here. Looks like Spencer Bodway's got around Roman Bykov. See if we can find a replay here to see how that manifested itself. Bodway getting a nice run up the Kemmel Straight. Looks like Bykov had a slowdown. I mentioned it earlier when we were on board with the two of them, where they were both flirting with that slowdown heading up Eau Rouge, and it looked like it finally caught Bykov on the last lap. That's definitely not when you want it to happen. Meanwhile, Sean Teeter coming into play. He might have time to catch Bykov as he can get into the draft. He can make a play for that position. All four cars fairly spread out at this point in time, though. They're actually not that far ahead of our Porsche Cup drivers. As you see Diltz using up all the track and then some of the sawdust on the side. That gap still holding 1.4, 1.5 seconds, although Mark Miller just took a couple tenths off there into that corner, diving a little deeper, but Austin able to get a much better exit out of the corner, opens that gap back up. And look here, Aaron Sunday, one final push, trying to chase down Sean Teeter up ahead. Spencer Bodway leading them around. Blanchimont for the final time. Looks like Roman Bykov not close enough to make a move into the final corner. Spencer Bodway to come across to take the white flag. One more time around for our GT4s. As we pick up just behind them, here comes our leader, Austin Diltz, through Blanchimont. They're only about 10 seconds back of that GT4 battle, so the GT4s are going to get one more lap. Diltz, final corner. All he's got to do is hold it together, and he'll have this win. Round 7 at Spa is going to go to Austin Diltz. Mark Miller going to bring it home second. Brian Zinn up 10 spots in the day. He's going to bring it home in third. Joseph Meyer is going to come across in fourth. And it looks like Jesse Meager into the final corner here now. He's going to round out our top 5. Let's go back to this battle in the GT4 class, though, as Bodway not out of the woods yet. Spencer Bodway leading the way, but Roman Bykov within striking distance. He's got the draft as well. Sean Teeter, he's not out of the woods with Aaron Sunday either. Sunday within striking distance too as well. So top 4 positions still undecided in the Cayman class. You see Bykov throwing it off track, gathers it up. He's going to throw it deep again. Bykov throwing everything and the kitchen sink at this point in time at Spencer Bodway. Bodway not biting as it stands. He's holding his lines, holding tight lines, just trying to avoid looking in his mirror, seeing what Roman Bykov's doing back there. Don't get off your game. Just hold steady, push forward. Don't worry about what the driver's doing behind you right now. Bykov's going to be using up any little bit of tire he's got left on that Cayman, pushing as hard as he can. Spencer Bodway running his traditional lines. He's not wavering, not making that car any wider than he needs to, making sure he doesn't go offline, trying to maximize his exit speed out of every corner he possibly can. Bykov runs it wide into the Keeler, trying to get every last mile an hour he can out of that Cayman. Here we go. He's in draft as they head through Blanchimont. This will be the last chance for Roman Bykov to make a play at top spot on Spencer Bodway. We'll go on board here with Bodway looking back at Roman Bykov. Bykov getting a run. It's going to take a real dive to try and make that move. He's going to try and go around the outside Spencer Bodway is going to cover the inside. Bykoff out on the wide side. Bodway crosses back over. It's going to be a run to the start finish line. Who's going to take it? Spencer Bodway or Roman Bykoff? Bodway's going to take it. Nice attempt by Roman Bykoff in the final corner to cross him over. Spencer Bodway saw it happen. He crossed Bykoff back over. Excellent racing by those two drivers. Couldn't ask for much more than that. What a finish in our GT4 class. And there you go. There is the podium. Nicely done by all drivers. Well, Spa delivered. Mentioned earlier, it's one of the most popular tracks in the world. It's definitely a fan favorite amongst the Apex this group. And we just saw a reason there why. So let's take a look at the results. First, we'll take a look at the Porsche Cup side of things. As we saw, Austin Diltz leads it around from start to finish, or I guess not from start to finish, as Jordan Musser qualified on pole, but Diltz going to take it 2.4 seconds up on Mark Miller. Brian Zinn in third, Joseph Maher in fourth, Jesse Meager rounding out the top five, Morgan Smith in sixth, Daniel Salmon up into seventh, Richard Swindells in eighth, Sean Giroux in ninth, and Justin Atchison rounding out the top 10. And then we'll take a look at the Cayman class. As we just saw, Spencer Bodway by 0.075 takes the win over Roman Bykoff. Sean Teeter in third, Aaron Sunday in fourth. Ozik Sulu going to finish, well, technically a lap down. He was just behind our Porsche Cup cars, so he got flagged before they crossed the line, and Uwe Hale out early. Okay, looks like we got a few drivers in the waiting room here. We'll just wait a second here to get everything queued up, and then we'll go have a chat with them. Okay, let's bring in our third place finisher, Brian Zinn. Zinn, nice run, up 10 spots on the day. You didn't qualify. Was that due to penalties, or was that just you just didn't have time to qualify?
No, I unfortunately had to take care of something during qualifying, so I was hoping to make it back to at least get one lap in, but I got the warm up lap in, but didn't have enough time to get a flyer started. So that's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of pit strategy worked out too for you as well. You were able to jump ahead of, I believe it was Jesse Meager and Morgan Smith, both through pit strategy too as well. You had one of the quicker stops. So were you trying to fuel save it all as you were working through the field, or did you just happen to work out? You just had that quick stop in you?
No, I wasn't fuel saving. I was starting way in the back. I was pushing pretty much since the green flag. So I just had a really great in lap. Some of the traffic cleared out and really kind of nailed the pit entry as well. So I think that's really where I just made up the time. I'm not sure what happened to Morgan. He seemed like he dropped a couple spots back because I thought he was in front of me before the pit stops, but came out behind, I think, Joseph too. So I'll take the freebie from that. But no, I wasn't fuel saving. Just like I said, had a really great in lap and nailed that pit entry.
Next week we head to Daytona. I honestly don't think I've ever driven the Porsche Cup at Daytona. I can't remember the last time it's ever been there in the normal schedule. So how you feel about taking the cars with no aero, no ABS, and no traction control to the banks of Daytona?
It'll be great. I've done one race there. It was in a league, different league, and we did standing starts on the start finish trial. So you can imagine how chaotic that went. But no, it'll be fun. It'll be probably pack racing just because it's so easy to get a draft in these cars, and Daytona is a big drafting track. So looking forward to a lot of action into turn one, a lot of action into the bus stop, and hopefully avoiding people locking up the brakes, which is probably inevitability. So, but it should be a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Excellent. Anybody you want to shout out here as in before we let you go?
Uh, just glad to have Sean and Don with me. Two teammates and two really good friends. So it's always fun to get to do some Apex with some good friends. But Other than that, just props to everybody. Outside of a couple lap one brake lockup incidents that everybody seemed to avoid, it was pretty clean racing out there, which is hard to do in these cars around Spa. So well done to everybody.
Excellent. Best of luck to you next week at Daytona.
Yeah, see you next week, Rob.
Bye. So that was our third place finisher, Brian Zinn. Let's bring in our second place finisher, Mark Miller. Mark, excellent race. Looked like you might have had something for Austin right after the pit stops, and then looks like he was able to kind of open up a tenth or two here or there and pull away with it at the end. How did your race go from your seat?
Yeah, it was good. I was very pleased with that. I know we came out of the pits pretty close, and I could have tried to battle to get in front, but I wanted to tuck in behind him because I thought Zin was coming quick, and he was a little quicker than me anyway. So I'm like, tuck in behind him, try to stay in his draft, keep use him to keep me from doing something stupid if I was out front. And that worked out pretty well. And I was kind of keeping up with him the last couple laps. He really laid it down and definitely did pull away a little bit. I mean, the last lap I kind of backed it off anyway, but he was motoring. Good race for him, and Zen as well. I knew he was coming no matter where he starts from. So
Yeah, well done. I just mentioned to Zin that next week is Daytona, and I don't think I've ever raced an iRacing official race there. I don't know if for some reason it just never popped up. I think it might be something to do with the standing starts and the officials and having to start on the banking. But we're running rolling starts in this league, so it shouldn't really be an issue. But how you feeling about taking the Porsche Cup, which notoriously has no ABS, no traction control, no aero, into Daytona with that real heavy braking turn one?
yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'll be able to get the car around. I mean, I love running the 24. I look forward to it every year. But just Daytona and just regular short races, it's just not one of my favorites. I really don't don't care for it in that situation. I pretty much only run the 24, so not really looking forward to that one. But we'll see what happens.
So some practices in store, I guess. Anybody you want to shout out, Mark, before we let you go?
I know nothing particular as always. Shout out to the great broadcast and to the league, but yeah, that is it.
Well, excellent stuff, Mark. Congrats on your second place finish. We hope to see you back up top again next week.
I hope so. Thank you.
Take care. Okay, before we bring in Daniel Zippy Salmon, let's have a talk with our GT4 winner, Spencer Baudouin. Spencer, you got us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Excellent. Uh, Tough battle there in the GT4 class. You guys were nose to tail for the most part. The top four swapping
Yes.
spots back and forth, namely between you, Roman, and Sean. Battle came right down to the last couple corners where Roman got you on the entry, and you wisely went for the crossover back over, and you got him to the run of the line. So
Oh,
excellent battle there amongst you. How did your race go from your seat?
it was went pretty much as planned. I was needed to stay in the draft, stay with the guys, and Sean and I through practice were nose to tail, door to door, all night long. So I was really looking forward to an awesome race with Sean. Roman coming to the fold, and he's a little quicker than me, but he was always able to catch up. But he did get a penalty going up Eau Rouge, which helped me get by him there after pits. So that allowed for me to have a little bit of a breather for a while. But yeah, he caught up at the end, and that was a pretty exciting finish.
Oh, no doubt. I'd been on board with you guys, you and Roman, a couple times when you were heading up Eau Rouge, and you can see that the two of you were really pushing the limits of touching that slowdown. And I had mentioned him, like, you were only within inches, the two of you, and then eventually it caught Roman where we saw him have to pull over on the Kemmel Straight, and you were able to get by. But he worked hard to charge back on you, so your defense game was on point there, Spencer. But next week we head to
Yeah,
Daytona. How you feel about taking the Cayman there?
it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. This car will handle well. It does corners pretty good in the tight turns, and we'll see how fast the P Cup cars can come around. Maybe we'll get lapped if they keep it on track. That could add for some excitement throughout the race. So yeah, it's going to be really exciting. We look forward to it. Uh, yeah, things are going well here.
Excellent. Well, great job, Spencer. Congrats on the win. And anybody you want to shout out before we let you go?
Just thanks to my my competitors for a great race. Thanks to Apex this, and thank you, Rob, for the broadcast.
Well, appreciate it, Spencer. Best of luck to you next week at Daytona.
Thank you. See you then.
Take care. Okay, and last but not least, let's bring in my boss most of the week here on broadcasting, Daniel Zippy Salmon. Zippy, a strong run this week. Looks like you remembered to put your pit limiter on this time.
Yeah, I got to admit, the biggest goal for today was to finish the race and not get caught speeding in the pits, Rob. No speeding. And then not only that, we managed to do that. We managed not to lock up, put the limiter on, and then we tied our shoe while we were exiting the pit lane with our left foot doing the gas. So that was a little bit haphazard, but you know what? We got there. But no, honestly, it was a good, clean race for the most part. And until it wasn't, I see Mo pop out the pits and like, oh, hello, jackpot. And applied pressure for a little while and then just got to slow down and then royally cocked it up from there.
Yeah, it looked like once you were able to catch up to Morgan, you weren't able to really find that spot to make a maneuver on him. I thought you might give him the chrome horn and just kind of try and move him out of the way. And then I suspected that you had that slowdown because when we went back to you, you were dropped about 3/4 of a second back, and then it looked like you were trying to bleed it off a couple corners after the top of the Kemmel Straight, and that was pretty much all she wrote for you. But up 7 spots from you. Well, I guess you didn't qualify. You started at the back, but nice run up 7 spots into 7th place. Next week, Daytona.
Yes.
No traction control, no ABS in these cars, and very little aero. How do you feel that's going to play out into turn 1? That's a real heavy braking section.
It's a princess-approved track, Rob. We'll be fine. I like Daytona. Daytona is a good thing. I even got to drive it this year for the 24 in an Acura, and like it's the same as this. Like I find I don't like practicing for racing. I just want to go in and have some fun. And I'll take the same approach next week. I might do qualifying. We'll see where I'm at. But certainly, you know, I'm looking forward to it. Daytona is on the Princess approved list. Road Atlanta, I'm sorry, whoever put rain there, they ruined it. But I was sick anyway, so I'll forgive them for that. But no, I'm hoping that we can have a good race. Maybe I'll qualify. Maybe I can see if I can get myself on the podium, and Julie then get myself a pit lane speeding penalty just to celebrate.
Well, excellent job, Zippy. We'll let you go here shortly, but it sounds like you're getting a little better. So hopefully you'll be able to spend a little more time broadcasting this week than throwing halls down your throat. Anybody you want to shout out here, Zippy, before we let you go?
I want to shout out the driver, the number of Richard Swindale's car. I thought he was very good. He did very good. You know, he's giving me some guidance on, you know, how to move the car, how to get a little bit of guidance. You know, just make sure that you don't go in too hot. You know, make sure you don't get slow down, and you know, give me some tips for the corners. You know, really good job there, Mr. Richard Swindale's. Got to say a huge thank you to you and Mr. Rob Campbell there for absolutely fantastic broadcast on the Sky Lounge Media.
There you go, folks. That's Kyle Mills. I mean, Daniel Zippy Salmon here. Live and in the flesh. Zippy, congrats on a strong run, and best of luck next week at Daytona.
Thanks, Rob.
Later. So there we go. That was everybody in our booth. Now it's time when we hit Chaos Theory and we get to go and poke fun and make fun of all of our drivers for wrecking out and feel superior. All right, let's roll back to green flag. I suspect first up is probably going to be when our leader Jordan Musser crashed. But let's take another look at this unfortunate incident early on. Jordan Musser having a strong qualifying, put himself on pole, loses the back end, rejoins right in front of Wesley Cotnor. Not much Cotnor could do there. Oh, excuse me. Not much Cotnor could do there, unfortunately. It was the end of, I guess Wesley came back on track, but his race was more or less done at that point in time. But first incident for our leader, Austin Dilts, he took over top spot. Do that incident between Jordan Musser and Wesley Cotnor earlier. Dilts blows it into the final braking section, gets himself back on track, though keeps it off the wall, but he's going to lose a couple spots to Mark Miller, Brian Lemke, and I believe Morgan Smith was unable to make that move around. 2 spots lost for Dilts there. Donald Mensing, I believe we reviewed this one too as well. Almost a carbon copy of what we just saw happen to Austin Dilts into the final braking section. Just not quite able to get the car wound up Gonna run off into the runoff, get itself back on track and sort it out. As I mentioned, Wesley Cottonor did come back on track, but once he did, definitely his race was gone by the wayside here. He's going to lose it into turn one, lose the back end, come around, gets it woed up though, keeps it off the wall. But not the race he was envisioning at the start, no doubt. Joseph Marr trying to chase down Morgan Smith up ahead into that final braking section again. We've seen a number of cars here doing the same thing, just blowing that braking zone, going wide. Jesse Meager, so he was unable to get it around Joseph Marr there, and that's where Brian Lemke had spun just ahead of them. Lemke was able to get through the final corner, but it was the next corner after where just get too eager on the throttle, loses the back end, spins around, little kiss to the wall, back out. And if that wasn't bad enough for Lemke, once he got everything straightened back up, back on track again, he's going to lose the back end again here. His tires were probably still a little warm from that spin earlier on. Locks it up, Lemke going to pull off, and he's had enough. He'll call it a day. As I mentioned, Wesley Cottonor got back on track. This was his another run into turn one. Similar thing happening again here, except this time he's going to lose the back end a little later on. And again, not the race Wesley Cottonor was envisioning for himself. Kelly Green, who I mentioned, had an excellent start of the race last week, was leading most of the race until he had an incident in turn one. Just ahead of Daniel Salmon there, almost a carbon copy of what happened to Brian Lemke. Greenho going to keep it off the wall though, but he's going to rejoin right. Almost takes out Richard Swindells. We'll have to have a chat with Swindells later on to see how close that was to almost clearing out his tailpipe. Let's see if we get a view here from Richard Swindells' gearbox here to see how close that was. As we see Swindells coming in here, going through. We're going to see Kelly Greenho just up ahead. There's Greenho there. Whoop! Oh, he did actually touch him. They did touch. You can hear that there. Oh, let's see if we get another look here on board from Kelly Greenho. Let's see. We'll get the nose shot here. It definitely sounded like they did touch. So Greenho's going to spin here to get it righted. Swindells is coming around. Oh, they did just touch. Richard Swindells is lucky he didn't get sent for a ride into the wall there. See here, Morgan Smith heading into turn one. This could be potentially oh, he's going to lock up the front end, have to bail. Nice save there for Morgan. See, Ozek Sulu, he was riding just a second back of that GT4 battle for the most part. Looks like he sent it in deep here into the final corner. Oh, he could bail. Oh, that's going to be an unsafe entry penalty there for Oz Sulu. Unfortunately, that's how he fell back off the battle. Jonathan Cooper, as he's trying to chase down Donald Mensing up ahead. Coop sends it into turn one. Similar to what we saw happen to Wesley Cottonor. Oh, Coop's going to tag the wall, though. Rough race for Jonathan Cooper. Austin Dills, this was his second off track in that final braking section again. This time he makes it through the first. Oh, no, this is pit entry. So we're going to get flagged a bunch of these for pit entries. Not sure why it was flagging them. Usually doesn't do that, so we'll see if we can cycle through a bunch of them. Zinn, Morgan Smith. I believe this is already after pit. Oh yeah, that's where Justin Atchison. We got to take another look at this Atchison incident. See if we can see. Let's back it up a little bit. Only picks it up after he's already gone sideways. Let's see if we can back this up. See what happened to him. So actually coming through Blanchemont. Oh, he gets loose on the way in. Just couldn't collect it up. Morgan Smith had to bail onto the grass to avoid getting cleared out. See what happened to Sean Drew. Drew navigating around Justin Atchison. Oh, he must have been our last car coming in for fuel. Bykoff into the final corner. And I believe this could be his pit entry too as well, yes. It's going to be our GT4 cars in. And that looks like that was it for the most part. A few more off tracks here and there. But nothing else really worth looking at. Jonathan Cooper, Wesley Cottonor, a couple more incidents, but we've already seen what kind of race they had. They definitely don't want to be seeing any more of that. But yeah, that was it. That was excellent race at Spa. Sometimes it can be a bit of a snore fest at Spa, where you get the driver that runs out early on, is able to run away with it. Next week at Daytona, as I think it was Zin might have mentioned, it's a bit of a draft track, so we'll stick around and see how that works out next week. See how that plays out. Looks like Daniel Zippy Salmon just filling our chat full of comments here. Thanks for joining the chat, Zippy. Thanks for everyone tuning in. We will see you all next week at Daytona, home of the Rolex 24. Bye for now.